And then we're not going to spin quickly, because quick spinning, if you're not used to it, can make you dizzy, which we don't want to be. So you can look at your gaze in the mirror and use it like a dancer spot if you want. We're going to go from the left to the right. So hold out your left hand, and then we're going to take that left hand across to the right. All right? So 7 times around, I'm going to go that way. Ready? Begin. When you've done 7 spins, go ahead and stop. Hands on the hips. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Next, we have a double leg lift. So you can use your blanket under the hips if you like. I don't use that. So we're here, and you can lower the low back onto the floor, tuck your thumbs below, take a nice deep breath in, and we'll do 7 of these. So inhale as you're down, and exhale, lifting head and legs. And please be conscious of the back. So inhale, come down. If you need to stagger the lift or the lower, please do that. 7 of these. Inhale through the nose when you're down. Exhale through the mouth as you lift. Good. And you can go as slowly or as quickly as you like. In between, we come on up. Yeah, so we'll wait. Yeah, take your time, come onto your feet. Great. It's nice to see the feet going up and down. Good, and inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. So exhaling through the mouth is considered a cooling breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. The third posture is a version of camel pose. And I'm going to do it sideways so you guys can see. I have my toes tucked under, but you can also put them flat. So either way is good. And you're going to take a hold right below your rear and inhale, bring the elbows together. Exhale, drop the chin and blow down into the chest. Good. So we want to do a whole really good back bend and not just be throwing your head around, right? 7 of these. Blowing out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Good. When you're finished with your 7 camel poses, come to your feet once more. You can probably guess that part of the heat is just standing up and in between. Inhale through the nose. And we exhale, blow it all out. Inhale and exhale. Good. The fourth one, we begin in seated staff. So here, and I like to fold my fingers under into fists. I feel like it gives me a little higher lift. So I'm here, I'm going to inhale as I lift into tabletop, and exhale, return to seated staff, blow down into the chest. So it looks like now you don't have to go quickly. You can go slowly if you'd like, right? Do leave your heels in one place so that you're just lifting up and straightening back out. Yeah, exactly. Great job. And when you're finished with 7, return to your standing. Don't rush. When you're done, you're done. Very nice. Good. All right. And hands on the hips. I don't know why they tell you to put your hands on your hips. You can skip that if you want to. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And once again. And this one is a combination of downward and upward dog, and the breath reverses. This time we're going to be inhaling when we're forward and exhaling up. We're taking a wider stance. I'll show you this way, so that our hands and feet are wider than they normally would be for downward and upward dog. So here, just stepping wide. So we know that we usually have about shoulder and hip width for up and down dog. So I've got my hands and feet out to the edges of the mat, and I'm inhaling here in downward dog, and then I exhale, blow up and upward dog. 7 of these. Inhale, exhale. That's it. Yeah, hands all the way out to the edges, very nice. And blow your breath straight up. Good. Good. So you understand, so the spin is said to counter the revolution of the earth. The double leg lift is a core practice. Come onto your feet and we'll do those 2 breaths again. Uttanasana is obviously a back bend, heart opener, chest opener. The upper body strength for your seated staff and tabletop. And the up and down dog combination is flexion and extension of the spine. But those are just the physical benefits. Energetically, the Tibetans feel like they do a lot more. Take 2 more breaths. Blow out through the mouth. Inhale again. And exhale. Then we do 3 Uddiyana Bandha breaths. So I'm taking a little hip width and softening the knees. Sweep the arms up. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Drop your head, round your spine, tuck your chin, and pull the navel up. You're holding the breath out. So drop your head. I'm looking at you, but you're dropping your head. Good. Push through the feet and sweep the arms up. New breath in. Exhale it all out through the mouth. Round your spine a lot. Pull that navel up. Tuck your chin, please. Drop your head. Good. Pull the pelvic floor up. Good job. And release. One last. Inhale. Exhale. Everything out. Hold. Good. And release. Sweep the arms up. Inhale. Good. And let's stand in Tadasana. Relax. Close your eyes. And just have nice, gentle breath. So all you're doing now is sort of letting everything regulate. I learned those from a person who lived in a Tibetan monastery for a long, long time. And I've done them for a long time. I feel like they're excellent in this weather. Good. Good. And then just stepping to the front of your mat. Inhale, take the arms up. Good, and exhale, come on over into Uttanasana, forward bend. Good, inhale, looking forward. You can put your hands on your shins or on your blocks. Half forward bend, and exhale, fold. Good, let's walk back into plank pose. Good, and then dropping knees to the floor. Stretch your feet by pressing back. Extend your child's pose. And then diving through, dropping the body down, lifting through Bhujangasana, cobra pose, and pressing back, downward facing dog. Hang out for just a moment in downward facing dog. Nice long breath in, nice long breath out. Good, and then taking right leg up in the air, right leg through to the front, and slanting the back heel, finding warrior one. Good, squaring hips to the front, and just find your perfect distance between the feet so you feel stable. Breathing here. Deepen that front knee. Good. Reaching forward to plank pose. Taking your moment in plank pose to really connect with the core of the body. And then dropping the knees again and pressing back again. So stretching low back prior to sliding through and going into your belly back bend, cobra pose. Inhale, shoulders down and elbows back, close to the body. Yeah. Curl under, press back, downward dog. And left leg up. Left leg front. Back heel down. Find your distances and let it be comfy for you. Take your time to set up your pose. Good. Sweep the arms up, new breath. And then hanging out here with your strong foundation. Good. And then stepping back to downward dog. Soften the knees, looking forward, hop or walk. Inhale, half forward bend, and exhale, fold the rest of the way. Sweep the arms up, new breath in. Hands down in the center of the chest. And now taking your clasp behind your back for scissors pose. So check and see what's my thumb, and then go right to your non-habitual clasp. First off, let's take left foot front first. So right leg steps back. Inhale, lengthen the arms, open that chest. Exhale, extend, leading with the crown of the head. And then once you've got a long, strong extension, then go into the forward bent part of your scissors pose. Elbows soft. No, I'm looking at you, but you're down there. It's my job to watch you guys. Good. Relaxing that front hamstring, lengthening back calf. Good, and then release your hands to the floor or your block and walk your hands to the left of your left foot. So we're doing a slight twist and scissors pose. Your block can be any height you need it to be, but you've just got a little twist to the outside of the front foot. Good. And then lift that block and put it at the top of your mat. Just move it over in front of your front foot. And then go ahead and step the back leg up and stretch. So you've got a little standing split. Now, don't worry about how high your lifted leg is, but just stretch the standing leg. Good, and then drop the back foot back. Set your block aside. Step back into plank pose. Oh, are you okay? Yes. I only saw the end of that. Are you? I just heard that. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Not lots of padding.
Okay. Here's your plank pose. This time, let's come down through Chaturanga, elbows close. And dropping the body, lift through upward dog. So squeeze the knees gently, open across the collarbones. And curl toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. Hop to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms overhead. And hands down in the center. Take your clasp. If you don't think about it, it'll be your habitual clasp, which is just what you want. And right foot front. Left foot comfortable stance. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, extend. So here's where we find the balance. Here's where we adjust. Where's our pelvis in space? Long anchored back leg, nice long neck. Cast your gaze out in front of the front foot. And then lower your head towards your knee. And if the arms float up, great, but don't worry about it. Right? We're not concerned about going past our edges, but honoring them. Keeping those kneecaps lifted and increasing your length of exhale. And then release the clasp and using the block to the outside edge of the right foot now. Stretch the left side of the body by walking over to the right. As I'm stretching with my arms to the right, I'm pulling the right head of the femur back into the hip socket. I'm lengthening front leg. Good, and then walk the block to the front of the mat and let yourself lift the back leg so you have some semblance of standing split. I'm not concerned with how high you lift that leg, but just that you get what's a really good stretch for you. So finding as much of a comfy stretch as you can. You can walk the block out in front of you if it gives you a greater feeling of length. Good. Yeah, and then drop the back leg back, step back into downward facing dog. And walk to the front of your mat or hop forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And sweep the arms up and over your head. Hands down into the center of the chest. Good. So there's a difference between Uttanasana and then humble warrior. And I don't know that I've ever known the asana name for that, but they're both about keeping the pelvis in the center line. So if I show you, I've got my right foot front and my left leg back. Don't do it just yet. When I come down in my deep bended knee, there's a tendency to head out that way, especially if I come forward. So I'm trying to use the rectangle shape of scissors pose here, but I'm adding the bended knee. So when I open the chest and I come down, I let my knee come forward and find length, and then slide the torso inside and drop my head, but I don't want to do that. The minute I do that, I sacrifice the inside of the front knee. So just something kind of neat to know about humble warrior and warrior two for that matter, keeping that knee in line, okay? All right, so let's shoot that left leg back. And then find your clasp, keep switching your thumb if you remember, getting enough distance so you can sort of drop into the center of your posture. Yeah, nice square hips and shoulders, open the chest, inhale, and exhale. As you come down, see if you can really use the strength of the back leg. I'm looking at you, but your head's down. Good, and bend the front knee to a comfortable level for you. Lift the arms, crown of the head is reaching towards the ground. So we're lengthening spine down. Really nice, that's the way. Release the arms, reach them forward, leave the right arm forward and open up into warrior two now. So I've got my left arm shoulder level. My front knee is still bent. My tailbone is moving forward. Yeah. And reverse warrior two. Really get a nice stretch. Good. Coming into side angle. So I've got my elbow bent. In this case, you could do block inside or outside if you wanted to go deeper. And begin with the arm straight up from the chest. Don't be so eager to throw your arm over your head. Your shoulder will appreciate if you build the pose a little bit at a time. Calm down when you're ready. Nice diagonal line with the back leg. Good, and lift up and reverse warrior two again. And then lift the front knee, but stay in your reversal. So you're in the reversal of triangle pose. And then coming out, palms facing forward, two straight legs now. You might shorten your stance for Trikonasana. It's not as long a pose as warrior two. So maybe I pop the back foot forward just a smidge, and then reach back to the left. And then take hips left and ribs and right arm right. Come on down. You can rest your palm on your shin. You can use your block. But the reason we're doing triangle pose now at the end of our sequence is because, again, the hips want to poke out to the back. And I'm going to encourage you to draw them forward and stack, in this case, left hip on top of right. Breathing in triangle. Really stretching between the lowest ribs and the top of the hip on the left. And then as if somebody has a hold of your top wrist, go straight up, vertical, 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 open. Good, lift both arms and turn to the front. And give yourself a little vinyasa. Step back into plank pose. Hold that plank for a moment. Find your core body so that it assists you to come down through Chaturanga or to drop the knees and glide through if that's better for you. So do what works. And let's lift again into upward facing dog. So when we lift into up dog, we're going to squeeze the knees off the floor if possible. Keep the elbows slightly bent if not possible. So if your pelvis is on the floor, the elbows should be bent. So please bend them. Good. And curl under, pressing back. Downward facing dog. And maybe hop forward or walk. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, hold. And just hanging in forward bend for just a moment. So crossing the arms or dangling the arms or whatever's your good forward bend. And sweep up, deep breath. Come on down. Nice. Now we keep the left foot front, take a clasp, long stance. Good, and then find your front knee. When you find your front knee, you'll find your back hip sliding open to the back. So your job is to pivot around to the front and strengthen the back knee while you do it. Good, inhale, open the chest. And then coming down, staying in line, bringing the knee forward with the crown. And then as you drop your head, really utilize that back leg. Good. Dropping right shoulder equally, deep in that left knee if possible. Yeah. Beautiful. And release the arms, swing them forward, leave the left one there, and the right arm comes up and over, finding yourself in warrior two. Here's where we situate, straighten out the front foot. Yes, yes, much better. Now we sweep into the reversal of Vira two. Really open up that underside. Excuse me. Good, the front knee is bent. Bend it. Yeah, good job. And then coming through into side angle, arms straight up from the chest to begin. Deepen the pelvis once more. And then sweep the arm long overhead, creating that diagonal. Palm down. Steady breath. Good, come on up. If you need to lift off that front knee at any time, do it. But for our purposes, bend again and reverse warrior two once more. Bent knee to start. So after a couple, there you go. After a couple of breaths with that left knee bent, then we lift the left knee. So now it's straight. We're still reversing. And then come on up and open and shorten your distance, maybe a few inches for triangle pose if you want to. Reach back through the right arm, then send the hips right and the left arm long to the left. And you can rest your palm lightly on your shin bone. You can utilize your block if that works for you. And if you can take your gaze up to the upper thumb, other way, Julie. Left arm down, right arm up. There you go, that's it. Good, good. So if you can, you're looking up at your hands, but if that bothers your neck, then look straight ahead or even look down at the front foot. So you have options as far as your drishti or gazing point. Good, and come on up, sweep the arms up, and reach forward, stepping back to downward dog. Good, and then walk forward, and we'll come into a squat. So at this point of working on rehabilitating my knee, I'm doing my squat on a block. You may not need that at all. So little outward tilt of the feet, elbows in between the knees, thumbs moving towards the sternum, and then lift the chest with your thumbs. There it is. That helps straighten the spine. Good. And just hanging out in your squat. So the downward moving grounding energy of a squat and the strengthening of knees and hips. Steady breath. So in yoga, we overcome all kinds of obstacles. Yes, our fear of doing something wrong or looking stupid or of hurting ourselves. And that's a really good fear because we don't want to. And we're overcoming congestion and stuckness and all kinds. So I think the Ganesha idea, this strength and bravery and all of it are really helpful for our practice. Yeah. All right. So from here, can you come forward? I'm walking my feet slightly back, and I may even put my feet onto my block, depending on who you are. I'm going to just take the elbows down. So you're going to come towards crow pose. And it doesn't mean you have to go into crow pose, but my elbows are out under my knees and I'm lifting high on my toes. And in this case, let's say I step my feet onto the block and that takes me a little closer towards crow pose. And I may lean forward enough to lift a foot, or take the feet off altogether and just float forward. But it doesn't matter if your feet ever leave the ground. I'm just inviting you to play with that pose, shifting the weight, strengthening the hands. Good. And then come back out of it and heel toe in. Sweep the arms up again. Inhale. Good. Bring the hands down in the center. Good. Turning left foot left. And taking your block into your left hand. And then stacking right hip on top of left for Ardha Chandrasana. I should do this in this direction. And opening up the chest. Yeah, left foot forward, right foot back. There you go. Good. And take a nice step into that left leg. And then let the right leg float up. I like using the block for half moon. For most people, it'll help them get, all the right angles that you want to try for. So give yourself time. Draw that right leg back into line with the hip, and also on your exhales, keep floating the right foot up. And then if you want to add, catching your ankle in your hand, Shavasana it's called. If that works, press the hips forward, open the chest. Good, breathing here, strengthening standing leg. And then release, arm and leg long. And then let yourself come up. Good. And pivoting. So my right foot is the new standing foot. I'm opening arms out, taking a nice deep breath in. Really plant that leg. And then let yourself slowly float into the posture. So you take your time and trust that you have it. Falling out means going back in and getting it. Then breathing that back leg up and also open. And if you'd like to, you can bend that top knee and take a hold of the ankle. So here's where we're stacking hips again, breathing into the open chest, paying attention to standing leg. And then release the arm and leg out once more. And bend standing leg to float up. Good, how'd that go?
I didn't do that.
It's a little tricky sometimes. You know, I think it's a little tricky for me having to split focus this way. It's like hard to do it all, but there is the bar. And so those of you at home, when you come into these one-leggeds, and you guys in the room, when you come into these one-leggeds, and they present more of a challenge than you really want to deal with, we have the bars and the walls and furniture at home to use. So remember that, and I'm sorry, you forgot. It's just a camera. It's just irritating. I'm sorry to admit at times. All right, fan out those toes and hands on the knees. Sit back and lengthen low spine. So you feel like you've got your tailbone reaching for the floor, and then sweep the arms up. Sitting in Uttanasana or chair pose. Good. And inhale up. And then taking right ankle on left knee, if you can, and sit back down in chair pose. So we're doing a little standing figure 4, but still doing one-legged and strengthening the legs. Beautiful. Flex that top foot. Inhale up. Same thing other side. So left ankle on right knee. Take a nice seat. Good. Lengthen the arms. Relax your hip. Good. Inhale up. Bend your knees again and take your prayer hands, right elbow, outside left knee, and twist your chair pose. Good, and then open the arms. So I'm looking up at my left thumb and my right fingers are reaching for the floor. And then bringing the hands back together and hanging out in forward bend. So let yourself free of chair. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Hands down in the center of the chest and pivot now to your right so that the left elbow goes outside the right knee. Good, drawing your knees into line, trying to let the knees stay together. And then spring the hands open if you like. Left fingers reaching down, right one's up, open the chest. And bring your hands together once more, and then fingertips to the floor. Inhale, looking forward. And on the exhale, take that left leg back behind you. And then bringing your block in front of you for lizard pose. So here's where, if you want, your knee might come down to the ground. And if so, you might be putting your blanket under your knee. So lengthening back leg, lifting or dropping knee, kind of up to you. Yeah, so Jenny, move your right foot more to the right. That's it. Yeah, and the more the foot is out for lizard, the better. And you can also lift and twist a little. I've got one elbow on a block. I've got my right hand on my right knee now, and I'm looking up to the right. Good. And then coming up and out of that, just give yourself that little runner's lunge. So my front foot is flexed. Nice long spine, chest dropping down. Good. Take a moment with that leg. Thank your leg for all of its work. Good, and then place the right foot back on the floor. You're going to bend the knee again and come forward. You can leave your left block under your left hand, and you can also leave the left knee down or straighten the legs, so 2 versions, but the right arm now floats up. So finding your twisted crescent lunge. Good. Keep the hip from poking out. Draw it back in line. Good, and bringing the right hand down, put one block under each hand. We're just gonna do a little pelvic floor abdominal work, and this can be very light and easy. So you're just gonna do a little hopping. Yeah, right. Leg switching, and if you wanna practice leg switching, but you're not used to it, you can shorten your distance. So it could be that I just do a little hippity hop in the middle, or I could do the big long hops. All right, so play with that a little. It doesn't have to be, awful. It can be kind of fun, but notice, are you breathing? Are you using pelvic floor? Are you finding those springy legs? Good. And then let's end with the left foot forward, possibly with the blanket behind right knee in case you need it. So you've got your maybe elbows. I like the block for lizard. It really helps me get deeper and to relax the spine somehow. If you're practicing with lifted leg, you could try dropping it, or if it's dropped, you can try lifting it. It kind of changes the dynamic in the hip. You can keep right elbow on the block, and with your left hand, just press the knee and foot slightly open. So you have a little twist here. Good, come on back to the center. Use your blocks or the floor and just lengthen out front foot, flex it, and find your runner's lunge. Dropping down gently over that leg. And stretching. And then draw the foot back in and bend your knee. Right hand is down on the block if you want to use it, or on the floor. And then lengthen right leg and open up your left arm to the ceiling. You're looking up to the left. You can leave the back knee down if you want to. Good. And then release that. Go ahead and set your blocks aside and just step back to downward facing dog. Do a little twisting walk through downward dog. And then dropping knees to the floor and finding a comfortable child's pose. Which might mean for some of you that you split the knees or put your hands under your head. So there's various ways to do child's pose. You might bring the arms back behind you. And then relax in child's pose. Good. And then come on up. So coming up and taking your block here. So I've got my block on the middle position and I'm kneeling. Yeah, you can turn it the other way. Yeah, if you want to. Inhale, arms up. And then let's bring right arm across the chest and left elbow. So we have Uttanasana arms. So I've got left elbow on top. Good, and inhale, breathing. Exhale, lift the chest as you drop the elbows. So we're just doing this little breathing practice up and down. Yeah, it's just a great way to get into the rhomboids in between those shoulder blades, a part of our back that is notoriously tight. Good, and then do a little forward bend here. And inhale up. Good, and unravel. Nice big breath. Draw the left arm across the chest and right elbow on top. And just do a little breathing practice of arms lifting and then dropping. And when the elbows drop, lift the chest behind them. So you're doing two things. Inhale, lots of space in the back. Exhale, lift the chest. One more like that. Lift that chest as the elbows drop, and then let yourself come forward once more. Just drop your head. Don't worry about how far forward. Just keep the wrap and breathe right into the middle of your back. Yeah. Good. And come on up. Unravel that. Inhale, come up. And on the exhale, depending on who you are, you can reach for your heels in Uttanasana. You can reach for your blocks. So I might just be reaching for the blocks. You can also, I'll turn sideways, you can also flex your toes under so that you're reaching for lifted heels. And then another option is to do one arm at a time. If you feel like your hips have gone too far back, then you want to bring them forward and maybe lift one arm at a time. So working your posture the way that's giving you, you know, the best path to a deep breath. Yes, the blocks are super helpful. Good. That's nice. If you have one arm lifted, remember to switch and do other side. Good. And release your Uttanasana and take your block at the front of your mat. So you're going to make a little L shape with your hands. My index finger is on the side of the block. My thumbs are on the long side of the block. And I've got the elbows directly under the shoulders. So the elbows tend to splay out in dolphin, so we draw them in. You can always use your strap just above the elbow, but most people don't necessarily need it, and it can feel kind of constricting. So just press the elbows down and forward, and then lift the hips for dolphin. And these right ankles will help strengthen. Elbows are on the floor. Jenny, put your elbows on the floor. Forearms. There you go. There. Now lift. Lift the knees. No, leave the elbows down. Lift the knees. Like this. Look. There you go. That's it. Nice job. Come down and release that in child's pose, arms forward, palms rolled up. Relax your head and neck. And then the last thing we'll do is just a little hop. So when we come forward, you can leave your block where it is. You can also move it to the side. So we're just going to either lift one leg and set it down and lift the other leg, or we're going to lift one leg and sort of take a little hop. I'll show you both so you have a choice. So I'm here. In dolphin, like dog, I'm looking at the navel. I'm keeping a long neck. But once I come into peacock feather, I'm looking forward. So Pinchamayurasana, peacock feather, I'm looking forward instead. And that gives us the shape, the back bend shape. We just did a couple preps for that. So here I am looking forward and lifting. And I'm either going to just lift the leg up and practice that, one leg at a time, which is fine. Or I'm going to lift the leg and hop, little tap. You can try each side. But I want you to keep your gaze forward. The minute you look back at your feet, you lose the back bend, and it's also kind of alarming to watch your feet leave the floor. Yeah, I think your blanket's in the way, Julie. Because your feet could walk forward and you'd have, and Jenny too, walk forward. Your feet are too far back. So if I show you guys this sideways, if my feet are too far back, it's just infinitely harder for me to lift. So I can only get to there. If I walk up, see the difference? So yeah, make sure that your feet are in a good spot so that you can actually do what you're trying to do. Yep, walk both feet in first, Jenny. More. There you go. Good, and come down into child's pose when you're finished. And clear your mind. So that's kind of a tricky pose. It's not that easy to do. Good, and then sit your hips back and come on up. Swing around. Let's just do a seated twist. So my right leg is straight, left foot on top. And then just take a hold of your knees so you can sit up nice and tall. And then right arm, inhale, lift. And right elbow cross, looking around to your left. Good, and unravel that twist, put the left foot inside the right thigh, inhale both arms up, and coming down into Janu Shirshasana, head to knee. Here's where your strap could work for you if you want to capture your foot. You're welcome to do that. So hopefully stretching into the hip of the bent knee and stretching the length of the straight leg. And then come on up. Extend left leg and plant the right foot outside. Sit up nice and tall. Left arm, inhale up. Left arm or elbow outside, twisting right. Okay. Take your time in the twist. Let yourself wind around on those exhales. And then unravel, placing right foot inside, left leg, both arms up on the new breath in, and come down and forward. Use your strap if you want it, but don't hunch over and collapse in the chest. Extend the spine and only come forward as far as you really can. Good. Good, and then come on up and placing the feet wide on your mat. Just take the knees gently back and forth. A little windshield wiper seated. Good. And then coming into Shavasana. So comfortable Shavasana. Palms up by your sides. Letting go of practice now. And imagine yourself having cultivated your heat and light and focus, breath. Imagine yourself connected with all the conscious souls across the world who practice and who care. And just settling into your resting pose. And again, those of you at home, if the camera stops, I apologize, but I'm hoping that we'll complete our seat together. Allow yourself more and more to trust the answers that arise from within. And pursue the fulfillment of your happiness by faithfully following instructions. Do those things your deepest impulses urge you to do. Be genuine, authentic. Eventually, this won't even seem like such a daring thing to do. It will simply make sense to let go of your limited knowing and open yourself to the larger wisdom. Be ready for both. Do and be your deepest, most current, do as and be as your deepest, most current impulses are urging you to do and be. And now stretching a little bit. Maybe rolling through your side to return to your seat. Good. And bring your hands into the center of the chest and thank yourself for setting foot on the mat once more. We'll just do that mantra one time. So hum sa om. So hum sa om. Inhale, arms up. Open. Good. And one more deep breath in. Gather all that energy back down in the center of the chest. Namaste.
Namaste.